Stay calm. Stay calm. Now, I know what you're all thinking. Why is this dude still having all fours in the background while at the same time he's not editing his post-game show? Well, let me tell you this, and let me tell you this as somewhat calmly as I possibly can. Five losses in a row. That's not one, not two, not three, not four, but five. 5 losses! You can tell I'm not wearing Islanders colors tonight. And you can tell, sure as hell tell, that there is no way in shape or damn hell that I am putting Islanders here. That's only a special exception. So don't get it twisted. God, what would I do if I had a twisted T in my hand right now? I don't have one. So I guess I have to use an Arnold Palmer to vent frustration. Hey. Oh, what is this? What is this? Anders Lee just made a comment. Allow me to read it to you. Guys are going all out. Guys are going out there and working. There are plays where we can be better, be smarter at times. But I don't think it's something where guys are along for the ride or anything like that. It's part of our identity. Really? Like that so-called identity line? Hey, Martin Cizikas and Clutterbuck, the identity line. That line seems to be doing damn wonders for this team. Last I remember, our brilliant GM, and the only thing that he's brilliant at is changing the culture of this team and bringing Barry Trotz aboard. However, you bring the fourth line back. And for the first 2 years, people are fine with it. Enter year 3. Year numeral tres. If anybody could say 3 in any other language, please let me know. But year number 3. And here we are with virtually the same team. The only subtractions are that Lou traded Devon Taves away. There's no Johnny Boychuk, and there's no Thomas Greiss, and no Derek Brassard. Aside from that, it's virtually the same team. Oh, but we have Austin Chernak and this kid Timoshev. Okay, this was their first game, and it looked like they were doing pretty damn well, honestly. The identity of this team is the old folks' home and very slow. And quite honestly, there actually is no point to sending Sorokin down. Why? Do you really want to trust Ilya Sorokin to be under the brilliant tutelage of Brent Thompson? Seriously? Let's let the guy that we've waited so long for go to a failure head coach in Bridgeport. Somehow Lou Lamoriello trusts this dude who absolutely failed with Michael Del Cole. Mind you, that was on Gar Snow. But at the same time, Brent Thompson shares that exact same failure. Supposedly, Michael Del Cole was projected to be, and I use the word projected heavily, was projected to be this great prospect, this great hockey player, this end-all, be-all of forwards. Well, he's ended up on either the taxi squad or as the 13th forward, or he's just a glorified fourth liner. The Lou Lamoriello specialty. I feel like I'm being played here. I feel like that this is some sort of game that's being played with me here, as well as other Islander fans. Now, I know there are some out there that say, oh, well, they're just in a stretch. They're in a bad funk. Oh, in Lou we trust. Well, we trusted Lou. And what has he given this team offensive-wise? He's gotten us Jean-Gabriel Pageau, which I will admit at the time was great, and it still is great to this day. It's too early to say whether Chernak is good or he's not. It's only one game. But I'm willing to bet, knowing the great Lou Lamoriello and his ways with his fun little taxi squad, that he will put Leo Komarov back on here, as well as Ross Johnston, and then take Chernak and Timoshev off, and then put, I guess, Bellows and Wallstrom in, and then have Trotz not play them, but have him play his veterans because the chemistry of the team is important. We need to have the grit and the toughness. Yeah, well, grit and toughness ain't really winning these games for us, are they? It seems as though, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the Islanders have had trouble scoring goals, which tend to help teams win games. The last time the Islanders won a game, it was a 4-1 victory against New Jersey. And yet the Islanders, in all their beautiful glory, scored 0 goals, then 2 goals, and then no goals or 1 goal, and then 2 goals, and then 3 goals. Keep in mind that this team lost and got shut out by one Scott Wedgwood, an AHL journeyman who hasn't seen, prior to his start against the Islanders, who hasn't seen NHL action since 2 years ago. And we made him look like Martin Brodeur 2.0. I'll tell you, my tattoo artist is probably laughing her ass off because she's a diehard Devils fan, and I love her. And she knows that we have this rivalry between each other, the Islanders and the Devils. But even she says that Lou is past his prime. Let me ask you this question, because I've got a serious question here. Who in their right mind signs a fourth-line grinder, a 32-year-old fourth-line grinder, to a 4-year deal? You want to say Peter Chiarelli? Maybe, but let's go with current GMs. Any current GM out there that has the cojones to sign a fourth-liner grinder, a 32-year-old, so to speak, to a 4-year commitment, a 4-year deal maybe? Anyone? Anyone at all? Anybody want to list some answers in the comments? Anybody want to say anything of the sort? All right! It's the Islanders GM, Lou Lamoriello. If Lou signed Matt Martin to a 1-year deal, I'd be perfectly fine with that. If Lou signed Matt Martin to a 2-year deal, I would be a little suspicious, and I would be a little skeptical. But overall, 2 years isn't bad at all. 4 years. We're stuck with this guy until he's 36 or so. Hey, quite a concept, Lou. Only Anaheim averages less goals per game than us. That's shocking, honestly. But let's put it like this. Let's put these losses in order. The Islanders got shut out by the New York Rangers in Rangers territory by one Alexander Georgiev, who I'm under the impression of is the Islanders' kryptonite. Like Yarrow Halak was to the Rangers, Georgiev is to the Islanders. Then the Islanders promptly lost to, and wait for it, Scott Wedgwood and the New Jersey Devils. Shut out again. Now, my memory is a little bit of BS because of, all this anger festering right now. But let's go through this in somewhat of an angry stretch. So, they lost 2-0 against Scott Wedgwood. Scott freaking Wedgwood! Not Mackenzie Blackwood. Not Eric Comrie. Well, that would have been worse. Not Corey Crawford, who retired. But Scott Wedgwood. At least Comrie has had some NHL action. But Wedgwood hasn't had action in 2 years. Comrie, I believe, has. Had it with the Jets, I believe. Then we lost to Vitek Vanacek and the stripped-down Washington Capitals, who are without Alexander Ovechkin, who are without Dmitry Orlov, who are without Ilya Samsonov, who has COVID. I hope he recovers. Who are without, I want to say, and I want to be careful when I say this, I believe it was Kuznetsov. I could be wrong, but all I know it was 4 Russians that they were without. What do you expect? Do you expect, hey, the Islanders could take advantage of this team? You think, hey, the Islanders could really beat up on them? You think, hey, the Islanders could really beat up on Vanacek? But nope. They made Vitek Vanacek look unstoppable. They made him look like he's Dominic Hasek when he was in his Buffalo days. Unstoppable. 3-2 loss in the first game. And then in the second period, after they scored 3 goals in the first, they completely, I'm trying to be as clean as I possibly can here. They wiped their asses on the bed. They made their bed and they said, yeah, we got 3 goals. It's not like they're going to score 6 unanswered, right? Well, they did. 5 unanswered in the span of, I want to say, 9 minutes or so in the second period. And then an unanswered, unanswered. But, and how do you say it? An empty net goal to finish it off in the third period. Then against the Flyers, they pushed it to overtime yesterday. They tied it, which was good. They got a point, but they lost. With Dobson and Varlamov completely fooled. And then tonight, who else but Matt Barzal to commit the stupidest of stupid penalties.
All right, let's.
High sticking. And then what happens?
Oh, my God.
I will tell you what happens because I'm so humiliated by it. The Flyers score something called a power play goal, and I honestly don't know if the Islanders know what a power play goal is. They seem to score them from time to time. But according to the Islanders' logic, maybe this is Lou's influence. A power play is something you pass and you don't shoot. I don't know where to go with this team. I really don't. And then Trotz says this, and I agree with him, that they need Barzal on the ice. Yes, that's true. And they will talk to him about these penalties. 24 minutes, according to Islanders Twitter. 24 minutes. Penalty time. Whew, that is awful. The kid is careless. Absolutely careless. Now, I think he's a good kid, don't get me wrong, but on the ice, he's careless, especially in key situations. High stick leads to a Flyer penalty, which Flyer power play, which, let's be honest, any power play against the Islanders is guaranteed to score, especially in overtime. But any Islander power play is guaranteed or virtually guaranteed to be killed. And I can tell you this, Chernak and Timoshev look pretty good. In all honesty, they do. I do think that this team gravely misses Anthony Beauvillier. And when he comes back, whenever that is, hopefully it's soon. Hopefully it's Tuesday against, who do we play Tuesday? Oh, great. We play Buffalo. Watch me make them look great. But I'm telling you, once Beauvillier is back on this team, I think we'll stop seeing Leo Komarov. I think we'll stop seeing Michael Del Cole. And I think we will stop seeing Ross Johnston, who was supposed to be Matt Martin's replacement, but Lou said, screw that. Let's just sign Matt Martin back anyway for 4 years because loyalty. You know, I said it from the start. I said it when Martin was acquired, that you could have the best fourth line in hockey, that's fine. But it gets older and more fragile. And right now, most of the fourth line, 2/3 of it, are old. And I agree, without Barzal, this team would be unwatchable. The only reason why they're not is because A, of Barzal, B, because of Trotz. Barry Trotz is the reason why this team is doing so well. I'd say lackluster. The only luster move that Lou's ever made so far was acquiring Jean-Gabriel Pageau, changing the culture, getting Barry Trotz, and getting Sorokin to get over here. Aside from that, what else is there? Signing Valtteri Filppula back then. Hey, I loved Filppula on the Islanders. Signing Derek Brassard, a guy I wanted at the time who turned out to be garbage. But then, worked his way up. And that's right. Remember, Lou signed Martin 4 years in Toronto. And he signed him to another 4 years. And that's the key thing with Lou and his fourth liners. Leo Komarov is a fourth liner who's making 4 years. And, how many? A 17 no trade clause because Grinder. He gave Matt Martin 4 years. I don't think there's any trade clause behind it, thank God. Capmaster, David, will you confirm this for me? Did Lou give Matt Martin a trade clause or not? Oh, James, I love you too. Clutter, well, that's a Gar Snow contract. That's terrible. We can't do anything about that, nor will Lou do so. When you say they can't get any worse, it gets worse, especially with this team. Just bring back straight Gianta, Bernier, Kunak, Hickey, and take Komarov off the taxi squad. Trade Thompson, Bellows, and Wallstrom for, oh my God. Knowing Lou, he would do that. He'd say, this is what our team is. We're all big chemistry. In all honesty, when it came to the, to Matt Barzal's holdout for the first couple of days before he signed, I am surprised that he didn't contact Brian Boyle and sign him to a PTO. Okay, good. So there's no movement clause and there's not a no trade clause for Martin. Thank God. I didn't react to saying about Peter Zizil. I didn't say anything about that. I just said Lou would do something like that. Pay attention. Oh wait, don't forget Tom Kuhnackel, the fourth liner, who's suddenly a first liner on this team. Now let me ask you, on what team is Tom Kuhnackel, a top six forward? On what team is Leo Komarov, a top six forward? On what team is Michael Del Cole, a top six forward? Anyone? Anyone at all? Still waiting for anyone to say, my team or this team or that team or this team? Still waiting. Waiting to hear. Oh, wait, it's only the Islanders because Lou doesn't give them scoring? Figured. Lou back in his time was a great GM. Pre-lockout. He's great for this team in terms of having a whole different set of of a different culture, to change it to a more better culture, to a winning one that takes accountability. But with this is a changed culture, but it's an old one. Don't tell me how to run my show. Never tell me how to run my show. Don't tell me what it should be. Don't tell me what it has to be. I dictate that. I honestly don't know. Because next we play the Buffalo Sabres. Play the Buffalo Sabres next, right? 2 games at home at the Coliseum. Correct? Yeah. So if I were to look at the standings right now, the Buffalo Sabres are 2 points ahead of us. Tell me, let's say that Carter Hutton or Linus Ullmark shut the Islanders out. By the way, they got Jimmy Vesey. They got Jack Eichel. What do we have? Fourth liners. What do we have? Fourth liners. Old men. Maybe the fact that this team is in 7th place in their division with the New Jersey Devils in front of us. And guess who's leading the pack? No team has won a cup with your fourth line as your identity. I'll take Colorado's first line or Boston's first line as my identity. I would too. Any sane person would. And now, I haven't watched him lately, but I'm interested to see what the hockey guy has to say about the Islanders' 5 consecutive losses. It's not defense, although it tends to show. It's lack of following assignments. But hey, we're not doing too bad. We traded Devon Taves, who's paired up with, I believe, Cale Makar in Colorado. And who does he retain? Why, the old man himself, Andy Green. Because that's what sells to the Islanders, right? Because forget having Dobson in the AHL, where Thompson is good with developing defensemen. Make no mistake. But, my God. There are some guys who are ready for the game right off the bat. And there are some guys who just need some time. Dobson, first game of the season, looked like that. Like he needed some time in the minors. But he's looked better. He's doing great on the power play. And that's not saying much to the power play. Because the power play sucks eggs. It sucks massive eggs. That's what it does. It sucks major eggs. Want to know why? Selective passing. Patty cake. There's man. Keep on passing this puck all day. That's what this team does. That's what they do to us. They make you think, they make you wonder, and yet they then break your heart. They make you think they have a plan. There is no plan. Oh, I gotta see this. Taves has as many points as our second line. Okay, hold up. I want to confirm this for you. I really want to confirm this. Okay. So you'd say our second line is Beauvillier, Nelson, and Bailey. Bailey has 1 goal and 1 point. Brock Nelson has 2 goals and 1 point and 1 assist for 3 points. I can't look up Beauvillier on my phone because he's on IR. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, 4 points. Now, when I go to Colorado, when I click them, Colorado Avalanche, seems it is not letting me, probably because it doesn't want to see me know the truth. No, that wasn't a request. Now, the roster for the Colorado Avalanche, Devon Taves, 5 points. My God, you were right. Sorokin. Remember when people were saying that he was supposed to be this great goaltender? 3 games so far that he's played. The emergency game against the Rangers, which I gave him slack for, rightfully so. NHL debut, he was rushed in, thrown to the Wolves because of the freak injury to Varlamov. I gave him a pass for that. Against the Devils, he seemed all right, not stellar. Today, he seemed all right, not stellar. What the hell is wrong with this team? Not enough talent. Not enough talent. Getting rid of Taves was a big mistake. You preaching to the choir there. No, Sorokin didn't look good tonight. Like I said, he was decent. You don't win with decent. But then again, this is Lou Lamoriello's team, and this is a reflection of what he believes is grinding. How about I grind this chain? Will that win me a Stanley Cup? It's a BS little chain. But will this chain win me a Stanley Cup because chemistry? Will it win me a Stanley Cup because I grinded it? Will it win me a Stanley Cup because it doesn't score goals? COVID didn't screw us. COVID saved the season for the Islanders. COVID saved the New York Islanders season in 2020. You want to know why? Simple. The Islanders, they had a 7-game losing streak, which is what something the Islanders are approaching right now. They're 2 games and 2 losses away from that, with the Rangers on their tail at 6 points. And the fact that the Islanders were saved due to COVID. They got to the 3rd round of the playoffs, which was terrific. But the fact remains, this is nothing compared to what we saw with the Islanders. You can get away with decent goaltending when you have a talented team that score, which is definitely not us. I agree. Varlamov has been, really good for us. Sorokin has been hit and miss. More of the miss part, but not the hit. I mean, tonight he had, some really good saves. I'll say that. But aside from that, there's nothing really watch-worthy of this team. I was talking to one of my friends who's an Islander fan. She was very disappointed. Called this embarrassing. David has 22 points. We have 19 total goals. Hey, it happens when you have a goal scorer on your team. Talent. I wouldn't call him 100% miss. I wouldn't. I call him a 50% miss. Maybe a 70-30. 80-20. 90-10. Just saying. But I've talked to people, and they're willing to give Sorokin the same amount of time Shesterkin had in Bridgeport, which was, I believe, around 20 some odd games. I'll give him that. And after the 20 some odd games or so, if he isn't decent at best, or actually not even decent, average, just give him that, average at best. Terrible. I don't want to hear excuses of, oh, there was no preseason. No, the training camp was cut short due to COVID. No. You don't see any of these goaltenders, slacking because of it. I miss the fact that this team was able to score goals. What happened to the team in 2018-19, when Barry Trotz first came in and completely overhauled the team? One that had Valtteri Filppula. The one where if you played with Filppula, you were good. Not saying I'm not dissing Pajot, because I love Pajot. But this team just doesn't have that same energy, that same fight. Speaking of goaltenders, we got rid of the wrong two goaltenders. Should have been renewed Halak and Leonard. Halak was out anyway, to be honest, because he didn't like Gar Snow, and neither does anyone. So we all knew Halak was gone. I would have said Leonard Sorokin, and I wanted to keep Leonard. But when the Islanders signed Varlamov, I even said that the deal will only be worth it, and Lou Lamoriello will only get a pass on Varlamov's deal if he gets Sorokin over here, which he did. Lou gets a pass for Varlamov because Sorokin is now here. Even though they sucked with weight, that's an understatement. They scored often. Yeah, but they couldn't play defense. Now, I'm not asking, us to score 4 or 5 or 6 goals a game. No. I want to see consistency. You want to score 2 or 3 goals and, hold the other team to 1 or none. Fine. Win the game. Play 60 minutes. The way they're playing is just like they don't want to show up. Draisaitl has 6 points through 2 periods. Wow. Imagine if he were on the Islanders. How much of a benefit would he be? Greiss was out to begin with when it was rumored that Sorokin was coming here. Greiss wasn't here long term, and everyone knew that. The only way that Greiss was going to be here long term is if they got rid of Varlamov, and in his place they got Sorokin, and Greiss would exchange. It would be a 1A, 1B type of scenario, I believe. Fourth line doesn't provide the energy it used to be. Probably a wise direction. Probably not a wise decision to re-signing Matt Martin. Well, you and I both. But in all honesty, the way it's going right now, and I understand there's plenty of games left, but honestly, what's going to happen to this team? We don't know. We really don't. The fact that this team is so lackluster, the fact that this team is so uninteresting. It's a boring style of hockey, just like Lou Lamoriello likes it to be. We're stuck with his rules stuck with the Lou's rules. No beards, low numbers. Lou picks your numbers, except for veterans. No other coaches can talk to the media except the head coach. Why? I don't know. Oh, and media can't travel with the team because Lou's rules. Isles like a Miles Wood type player. Hits and gets in the dirty areas and scores. Well, Frank, there's a reason why the Islanders don't go with the Miles Wood type is because, let's put it this way, he has one of the three traits that Lou. He has one trait in those things that you listed that Lou hates: scoring. Because remember, he doesn't care about scoring. He cares about goal differential. Remember, the goal differential is key to Lou Lamoriello. And David, DJ Smith's Senators have given up 30 goals in the last 5 minutes. Or, I'm sorry, 5 games. Yet there are some Islander fans who want DJ Smith because he's in touch with the charts and graphs, who's in touch with the analytics. Yet if DJ Smith were the head coach of the Islanders, they would be absolutely putrid. I wouldn't say they'd be Detroit putrid, where they were last year, where they were bottom of the league, social distance from everyone. But they would be bottom of the barrel. There's no easy way around it. I wouldn't even say Lou to retire. I'd say give up your GM title and move to an upper position of a president's role where you could be an advisor of some sort or just a president of operations. That's fine. Do that. But get a GM who knows what the hell he's doing. I would love Jim Rutherford. I would love Jim Rutherford, but I doubt he's coming here. You need a little analytics and old school. Yes, analytics are used as a tool, not as a means to scout and help you study your opponent. But they don't dictate a damn thing. All right. I really don't know. People tell me don't panic. But when you're in a 56-game season and you have games like this where you don't score and you commit stupid penalties and your identity is a fourth line that's aging like molding, like curding milk, you can't afford to keep losing these games. You need to get talent. Hopefully that's Chernak, Timoshev, Bellows, and Wallstrom. Get Pavilier back. Or if anything, don't put Michael Dalcol in. Have Bellows or Wallstrom on the second line. Have Timoshev and Chernak on the third line. Why not? Oh, right, because you need the grinders to satisfy Lou's ego. Let players keep their numbers and their identities. Lou's rules are ridiculous. Trying to be the Yankees. Well, ain't that something? That's true. Trying to mimic George Steinbrenner. And I'm no Yankee fan, as most people may know. The fact that this team is mediocre right now ain't good. I don't know if we'll make the playoffs. It's too early to tell. Way too early to tell. If the season ended today, they wouldn't. They wouldn't make the playoffs. Not in one bit. Hate to say it. Sorry, they wouldn't. If it ended today. I want to see something here. I've got to see something. Now. Put it like this. Tampa is not in the playoff picture. Put it like that. If the season ended today. The final 5 minutes, I'll leave it open to questions and answers, comments, and concerns. What's your opinion on Jose? Nothing special at this point. He's in Europe or somewhere, so good luck to him. That's all I have to say. I remember when everyone told me, wait for Belmont. We'll be the oldest, slowest team in the league. Welcome to Belmont. I could agree to that. Don't forget, they'll be having a ceremony to retire Leo Komarov's jersey because Grinder. Just remember that. to feed Lou's ego. Timoshev didn't play in the third period or overtime. That's interesting. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything of the sort? Anything at all? Questions, comments, concerns? 4 minutes left. Less than 4 minutes. 45 minutes into this, I'm calling it. Will Bridgeport finish last in a 3-team division? I wouldn't be surprised if they did. They got the great Brent Thompson, Chris Lamarillo's drinking buddy, so who knows where that will go. You think Trotz will walk out the door before the end of the season? I doubt he'll walk out before, but if Lou doesn't give him a talented team by the time Belmont comes around, I could see him walking out the door, saying, "You're not doing anything to help me win a cup here. You're really not. You're not bringing anyone elite in. You're not bringing anyone of scoring caliber in. You bring in these grinders who can't score a goal, Leo Komarov, who's literally a klutz with the puck. And you expect that to win a Stanley Cup? And you have to sign Casey Cizikas, you have to sign Anthony Beauvillier, and this team is cap-strapped. You can only hope you could trade Andrew Ladd, which that's a god-awful contract in itself. I won't blame him if he does. Neither will I. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Retire Kuhnhackl first night. Now that's going to be Komarov. Please. It's Komarov. He's played more games. Kuhnhackl shouldn't have been here year 2. Year 1, that was it. Now he's on a PTO right now. Any chance Lou re-signs Komarov to a 4-year deal? Wouldn't be surprised if he does. Because grinder. You have to remember that. Because he's a grinder. And knowing him, he'll probably give Komarov another 4 years. Hell, I wouldn't be surprised if he gave him 6. How many years do we have left of Ladd's contract? I believe we have 2 years left. 2 or 3 years. And hopefully we can get him to go to Seattle and get rid of that awful contract. Maybe we'll be able to bring some elite talent in or at least trade for something. 2 years is too many. And I'm honestly surprised that we haven't seen Ladd in game action. I'm a little surprised at that. Any other questions, comments, concerns for the final minute? Any? Questions, comments, concerns, anything? You got 50 seconds. 5-0. No questions by then? I'm calling it. Unbelievable that we lost a 5th consecutive game. 2 points in 5 games. It's awfully familiar to what the Islanders were doing in 2019-20. Will Lou fire Barry as a scapegoat? I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if he uses Barry Trotz as a scapegoat. And we have to deal with Brent Thompson as a possible head coach. And it'll be awful. Because this isn't on Trotz. This is on Lou himself for not giving Trotz the talent he needs. Last questions. Will Lou ever listen to John Ledecky? It's not John Ledecky you have to worry about. John Ledecky is just a mouthpiece. It's Scott Malkin that he has to listen to. Remember, Ledecky is the mouthpiece and the public face of the Islanders when it comes to meetings and all that. Scott Malkin is the guy behind the scenes. He's the reason why the arena is being built, why the money is being somewhat spent, all that. Ledecky is just a mouthpiece. That's all he is. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed, because I certainly didn't. I certainly didn't enjoy seeing the Islanders lose for a 5th consecutive game. And I sure as hell didn't enjoy losing to the Philadelphia Flyers. But you all know the drill at this point. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching the Risorto Report, Risorto Recap. You will not get more live post-game shows unless I'm utterly pissed off. This is a once in a while thing, a rare thing indeed. Remember, I have something to keep. I have to keep doing this. More Palmer, here you go. But put it bluntly, it's not pretty. I'll see you guys Tuesday after the game against the Sabres.